Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. I know we still have a couple of people coming in, getting, everybody's getting situated. So, should I? Okay. I know everybody's still getting situated. We're still waiting for a couple of more people to find a seat. And we're gonna get started here shortly. It is packed today. So thank you everybody for coming out. We're gonna get some really good information. I hope that you guys receive a lot of value from today's meeting. And let's make some deals. Let's make some money, right? I didn't hear nobody agree with me when I said, let's make some money. Y'all don't like money or something? Okay, my girl. Awesome, 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 awesome. Well, I guess I'll just kind of do a little bit of an introduction. There's a lot of new faces, so I'm gonna pick on some people today too, just so that we can, get familiar with everybody and, start things like that. My name is Jada. I am a realtor and an investor here in the Richmond area, also in Hampton Roads and the Northern Neck as well. I am a realtor with Creative Realty. It was my birthday last time we had our meeting, so everybody was telling me happy birthday, so that was great. Let's see here. Fun fact about me, really quick, really short. I have a 1-year-old son, so I'm a new mom. And he's the most adorable baby in the entire world. And of course, my baby's better than everybody else's baby. Just kidding, just kidding. No, I'm not. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's see here. We have some really good information tonight about the BRRRR method, which is another exit strategy when you're doing investments. Everybody familiar kind of with the terminology and things of that nature? Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So I just want to welcome everybody back to another main meeting. We'll be getting some great information from Mr. Randy. He has accrued a multiple properties from the BRRRR method. Before we get started, I do want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We would love if you would join our association. We host main meetings every third Thursday of each month, and we do our networking events on Wednesdays at Capital L House. Those communications will go out often. If you aren't a member but would like to become a member, just see Jonathan or Janetta or Ebony in the front, and we'd be more than happy to get you guys acquainted and introduced. I want to first shout out our sponsors. I want to thank Richmond Mortgage, Mike Crumbon, hard money lender here in the Richmond area. We've done a lot of work with him, and he's just absolutely great. I also want to thank Creative Realty Brokerage here in the Richmond area as well. And of course, I'm a part of it, so that makes it even better. Also want to thank Cambridge Title and Settlement, Tammy, especially in the investment side of things. She is very diligent in what she does. We're constantly in communication with her. She is just excellent all around in getting things to the closing table, and basically solving any title issue that ever arises. And we all know title issues can go from A to Z real quick. And last but not least, want to thank Victory Theater for allowing us to be able to congregate here. And members get 20% off movies, not event space. So that's another perk of being a member as well. So before we get started with anything, does anybody have any deals that they want to present currently? Any deals? Nobody's got nothing for me? Okay. You have a deal? All right, I'm gonna bring you the mic.
Not probably what you guys are used to, but I do have 4 single family homes that I'm going to look to sell off. So they've had tenants in place. All have been updated to market rent. So they're between 1,200 to 1,300 good established tenants, 2 of which want to stay long term. So I can maybe pitch those to you guys privately and maybe send it off to it. But 3, I'm sorry, one more thing. 1 is fully renovated. The other 3 do have some updated work that needs to be done. So there is some delayed maintenance on it. But otherwise, I mean, they're cash flowing really nicely, just trying to use the capital to do other projects. So.
Awesome sauces. Oh, y'all, look at this cool thing.
Hello, hello.
Oh, fancy. All right, anybody else have any deals? Any deals? Going once, going twice. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right, so they want me to chat with you guys a little bit more. Can you go back a slide for us? All right, so we'll play a quick game just to kind of, you know, open us up, speak a little bit more. If you could just give me your name and what it is that you're doing here. I mean, are you looking for deals? Are you a hard money lender? All of those things. And we'll start with Miss Kim.
Who is Danielle? She's not here today, and they can hear me.
She loud enough.
I'm wholesaling. I wholesale 4 deals so far. Praise the Lord. It took 3 years. Glory to God. Had some decent deals. Moving forward, dressed like this because I was cleaning 7-Eleven on Hall Street for my sister. She has a cleaning company called Penny's, A Penny for Your Thought Cleaning Company. Normally I wouldn't come out like this, but it is what it is. And I want to get the knowledge, information, and network. I gave everybody my card. So I'm going to be coming to y'all because I'm getting ready to wholesale about 13 houses in Petersburg. And anyway, let me pass it on.
All right, perfect.
My name is Yao Thompson. I actually know Randy and I saw him post about this, so I figured I'd check it out. Possible. So.
And I'm Denise, and he dragged me.
He dragged you along. Best thing ever.
One. investor in the area as well. I do flipping and wholesaling. Looking to start BRRRR this year. So I want to pull my first few rental properties down by doing BRRRR. So hopefully, Randy, you got some good gems for me so I can learn something and look forward to working on it.
It's a lot of pressure tonight, Randy.
Hi, I'm Marie Kraus, and I'm part owner of F&M Rental Properties. I'm the M part. Fred is the F part. And we buy houses, fix them up, and rent them, and private money lending. So if you need some money, come and see me.
Okay,
My name is Fred Kraus. I'm the other half F&M Rental Properties. So come and see us if you need some money.
like that. I like that.
Hey everyone, my name is Jake Abel. I'm a new investor. I'm looking to do either my first flip or my first BRRRR this year. So looking to network and yeah, meet some of you guys.
Awesome, awesome.
My name is Eddie Robinson. I believe that whatever you speak will be, so I'm a businessman. Whatever opportunities are open, I'm open.
Okay. Like that.
Yes, I'm Thurman Smith. I'm starting off with wholesaling and want to do the BRRRR method and build into bigger property ventures.
Pete. I'm a renovation consultant and I help folks better understand.
Okay. Okay, good to know.
My name is Ismarie Jones. I go by Izzy Jones because everyone always thinks I'm saying Ismarie. So Izzy, I'm a buy and hold investor. Been using the BRRRR method for about 15 years now. Absolutely believe in it, love it. And in life, I really just want to be like this gentleman right here. So that's my inspiration and goal. So.
Look at that, getting inspiration already, inspired.
Hi, I'm Sherry Sprague with Icon Realty Group, just here to learn.
Absolutely.
So Icon Realty Group, and I'm here to learn more about flipping and being able to acquire properties without using my own money.
Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome.
And she looked at me because I am Melody Morris and I am a hard money broker. I currently work with 6 hard money lenders and I'm currently vetting a 7th. So if you're looking for hard money and you need lots of options, I'm your girl.
All right, she's your girl.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Vin Makija. I am an investor and a real estate agent. So I recently got my real estate agent Carolina also. So if you are looking to invest in North Carolina, let me know.
I'm John. I'm just here to learn.
Looks like you play football too, John. Good.
I don't really need a microphone. I'm just kind of here to
Casey, I'm here with these guys. We're also just here first timers today. I'm trying to see if this definitely interested in. Sorry.
Part of production. We are working on getting our contract. Trying to do some flips and other deals in the real estate area. So just really here to learn and see what.
Awesome. Mr. Chuck.
All right, I'm Chuck. Oh, Randy's here.
Okay. Chuck's here all the time, so.
I'm Sarah. I'm also here because Randy's here. I am a realtor for Keller Williams. Flip. I work really well with people like you before. So, yeah.
All right, my name's Randy Horner. Of course, I'm the one speaking tonight. So hopefully to y'all who know nothing, I'll be able to add some value. So that's the main thing. So I'm not going to talk too much because I got about 30 minutes here in a few minutes.
Skip Randy, skip Randy.
So I'm Chris Kaufman. This evening, I'm just kind of here for some knowledge, extra.
Hey, I'm Shara Gregory, and I'm an investor in the area for about 25 years. I'm also a realtor, and I also am a private money lender. And I've tried to roll a lot of my experience into a seminar that I do called Plan to Profit in Real Estate. And I have not been able to do that in person in a couple of years, wonder why. But finally, in April, I'm going to be doing it again. So I have some flyers here, anybody that might be interested in learning more about that seminar.
My name is Adam Kendall. Just kind of getting started. I've had a duplex for several years and just kind of trying to kickstart and get into the next property this year, hopefully. So just here to learn.
Yes, my name is Ravi Prasad, and I'm Shed Sink, which is a hard money lender. So I do lend hard money. I do have a card, and you will have difficulty finding my name on this card. But you will find dollar bills. There are dollar bills on this card. So feel free to take one from me. I also buy, fix, and sell. So if you have anything to wholesale, I'm a buyer as well. Here.
We love Mr. Ravi.
Hi, my name is Lorraine. I'm a broker with Clear Vision Realty. I've been in real estate for 23 years. And I do copy.
My name is Oludare Ogunde.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm gonna get a couple of these people in the back. There's also some pizza in the back too that just came. If you guys are hungry, need a little snack in between. We're gonna feed you a little bit, not a full meal, but something to put on your tummy. Did somebody get the ball in the back? My God, all these tags.
Can you hear me? Yeah. My name is Dane. I just recently heard about this. So I'm with these guys. I'm here to learn and meet people.
I love this group.
I'm Justin. I'm an investor. I just came to check.
Awesome, awesome.
My name is Joe. I'm a local wholesaler. I work the markets in Richmond and Petersburg, looking for my first deal still. I've been here for 8 months now, took a course, so I do know a lot, and my end goal is to BRRRR.
Awesome.
Hi, Nicole Brown. I'm a wholesaler. I've done 4 wholesale deals. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm looking for more properties. That's my focus right now.
Okay. We should be having some deals going on soon. Hard money lenders, wholesalers. I mean, it's the whole 9 yards in here.
Broker and a wholesaler and an investor.
My name is Adam New. My wife Amanda. What's up, Randy? How you doing? My wife Amanda and I are full-time wholesalers. I guess also now in an acquisitions model, buying and holding Airbnb and whatever's cool this minute. We're probably doing that too. So.
Adam usually brings the deals. This the guy with the
Usually,
deals.
I'm buying them all.
Oh, you're buying them all now?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
It's because of all these amazing money lenders in the room.
Right.
You start meeting them, making friendships. Next thing you know,
I know they were just throwing you money, right? That's
so
good.
Annoying. So annoying.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think we have a couple of more people back here as well.
Good evening. My name is Warren Thomas. I'm a contractor, investor, cash money lender, private money lender, and investor.
Good afternoon. Tony Mashore. I'm a local investor, I guess realtor, mentor, everything. Been in business like 45 years, so.
Voice, doesn't it? If y'all look around too, anybody with name tags like this are our ambassadors. Just for sake of time, I'm going to introduce everybody real quick. Jonathan and Janetta are back here in the back doing the reception when you came in. Jada is our wonderful host this evening. She's already been introduced. Uwe and Jodeci are over there and doing a technical job and doing a great job with all the stuff. And Mr. Chris Maka helps out with that as well. My name is Seth. I'm a local investor as well, and I help run this group with Kiosha, who I don't believe is here, and Mr. Oni back there in the back, who is a broker with Creative Realty and does a lot of work for this group. So thanks everybody for coming out.
All right, so Mr. Randy, if you're ready, we're ready for you. If everybody could just give him a round of applause to come up.
Yeah, we're gonna put it right up there. I'll just look over just kind of. Yeah, you can get. That's cool.
All right, how's everybody doing tonight? All right, hey, I appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Hopefully my goal, of course, my name is Randy Horner, but my goal is to add value. Maybe at some point tonight, I can actually motivate somebody to take some action tonight based off what I'm saying. Especially for y'all who are brand new, who know nothing, this will be a good foundation. Now, I'm not gonna go into super detail, but I will give a high level overview. Now, at the end, or maybe throughout tonight, you can ask me questions, I can ask y'all questions, because I'm not a public speaker, but so I'm gonna need y'all's help to kind of play along and help me out as I help y'all out, if you don't mind that. You can go to the next one. All right, so just so y'all get to know me a little bit. So I've been an investor for about 6 or 7 years. Up in the left-hand corner, you see I worked for Capital One for about 9 years. So I was actually building my business on the side as a side hustle until it became my full-time job. Now, Capital One actually laid me off over the summer, which for me is a blessing in disguise because I was looking at quitting Capital One, and then they gave me a severance to walk away. So I got kind of lucky with that. Now, a big part of my life is I've been a cross-country and track runner my whole life. So the left picture, you see me and my track coach in college. We had just won the conference championship that day. My coach got coach of the year. I was an all conference runner. And then after college, I actually ran for Brooks for a couple of years when I was living in Colorado. Get the next one. All right, now, of course, I don't just do real estate. It's a big part of my life, but I do other things. I still run every day, but not as much. So I'm in a kickball league. I couldn't find a picture of me bowling, so I put a picture of my bowling ball there when it was getting drilled. So those are things I do on the side. Now, some people won't be surprised by this, but I've got a huge koi pond I built in my backyard. It's 17,000 gallons. You see a couple little pictures of my fish, so it's kind of a hobby of mine. You'll notice I don't do anything big. I mean, I don't do anything small. I do everything big. It's just kind of a nature of my personality. But I do have a question to ask some people in here. Who still has their full-time job, but would like to do real estate full-time? Raise your hand. Okay, who in here also has 3 or less rentals? Okay, so tonight, hopefully we can get y'all past that to maybe 5, 10, 15, or 20. Now, of course, you see the slide behind me. So these are the kind of things I'm gonna talk about tonight. You know, you can make money by buying a property and not even selling it. You can build long-term wealth. There's a lot of tax advantages with holding rentals. Now, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an attorney, but the tax advantages, like I just sold one of my properties and I'm doing a 1031 exchange so I can use that money to buy other things. But that's not the topic tonight. Y'all can kind of research that later. Also another tax advantage, there's depreciation on rental properties that will actually help you at the end of the year. Monthly cash flow, that's how you get away from your job. If you want to be a flipper, that's awesome. But if you flip a house today, you have to keep on flipping and flipping and flipping. I'd rather build that residual income. So if you lose your job, I'm not a fan of corporate America. Like I like working at Capital One, it was great. But I knew at some point watching my parents that it was going to be an issue, you know, working for the big man. And then of course, when they laid me off, I was good. And of course, you're going to build equity. You know, you're going to pay down your mortgages as tenants are paying you. So you're going to build equity. Now, of course, the last couple of years, everything's appreciated like crazy. So we built, I think everybody in here has probably got a lot of equity compared to a couple of years ago. All right, now, like I said, if you're not, I'm not an attorney, you know, So if you listen to me, all this is gonna happen. You're gonna go broke, you're gonna go bankrupt, you're gonna lose your house, boyfriend, girlfriend, you're gonna lose your dog, you're gonna lose it all. I'm just telling you what I've done. You know, if you can learn from it, awesome, but just want you to make sure you're aware of that. All right, that's the end. No, I'm joking. The reason I put that as the end up there is because I'm going to kind of teach this from a backwards perspective, okay? Because in this method, if you do steps 1, 2, and 3, but you can't do step 4, you're going to be in a bad situation, okay? So I'm going to teach it backwards so that way it might make a little more sense. So of course, the BRRRR method, you know, you're going to buy, rehab, you're going to rent it, refinance, and you're going to repeat the process, but I'll go through each one kind of backwards. All right, so step 5 is pretty simple. If you can do steps 1 through 4, you're just going to repeat step 1. So you can kind of go over to the next one. All right, so here's step 4, and this is a really important one because I said if you get steps 1, 2, and 3, and you can't do this, then it's not going to work, you know? So you want to be ready. So what I mean by that is you need to have your credit score in check, okay? Now, you can get a mortgage with a credit score of 680, but you can get a better mortgage at 760, okay? So you don't want to pay an extra $50 or $100 a month on your mortgage for the next 30 years, when if you would have started now, when you were ready in 3 months, you can get your credit score, different things in order for that. Now, of course, you got to figure out what kind of loan are you going to get. You know, are you going to get a QM loan or a non-QM? You know, a regular conventional mortgage, or are you going to go to somebody who works with strictly investors where they do an asset-based loan on the property and not you as much? So you got to decide what kind of financing you want to do. Are you going to go to a local credit union, institutional money? I don't know if there's any institutional borrowers in here, but they are out there. Now, a big one is cash reserves. And I learned this, I'm not gonna say the hard way, but I learned it just by doing deals. Sometimes you learn these things. But with the BRRRR method, you're gonna refinance, okay? So odds are you probably have a down payment of maybe $20,000 or $30,000 into it. You may have your rehab, could be another, depending on the level of rehab, could be another $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 into it. So you may have 30 or 40 grand tied to this deal. So you wanna cash out refi. But the bank is going to come to you and say, hey, we need you to have reserves, okay? If it's your first deal, you may only need reserves of, let's say, 5 grand. But if you spend all your money and you only have $1,000 and you're like, well, hey, Mr. Banker, you're going to give me 40 grand to, that's going to be my reserves. The bank will not see that as reserves. You have to have the reserves in the bank already. And then when you get your 40 grand back or however much it is, it's just a bonus. Just make sure you already have at least some reserves. You go to the next one. All right, now step 3. Now you got to decide, so you're going to rent the property. Now you need to decide personally, are you going to get a property manager or are you going to self-manage? Now I self-manage all my properties. So if you're going to self-manage, you got to figure out the application process. What are you going to do with that? How are you going to do background checks, credit scores? How are you going to verify their income? You know, are you going to require 3 times the income? You know, which is very typical. I've seen some people lately doing it for 2.5. I wouldn't do that. I'd stick with 3 times. You want to have a good lease. You want to have a solid one, you know, because if something happens, that lease is going to end up in court just in case you have a tenant that does something wrong or this or that. You want to make sure it's good. Now, of course, maintenance, I always say you want to have a good list of at least 2 to 3 vendors per thing. So what I mean by that, you're going to want to have around plumbers, electricians, HVACs, handymen. You want to have 2 or 3 of each one, because when something goes wrong, you're going to call the first one and they're going to say, I can get to it next week. Well, your tenant's not going to wait till next week. So you want to make sure you have people that you can get in touch with. So step 2, talk about level rehab. This is also important with the BRRRR because, you know, with a BRRRR, it's going to be a rental. Okay, but you want to make sure that you treat it kind of like a flip. And what I mean by that is you don't want to do super cheap. Okay, some people will just slap paint on it and rent it out and say it's done. But you got to remember, you're going to get that appraisal at the very end. Okay, so if you don't have a good appraisal, that's going to mess up your cash out at the end. So you still want to do good work. Now, for me, I put this on there because anytime a contractor says this, it always drives me crazy. Is when they just tell me they're working on it, well, it's just a rental. No, it's not just a rental. Somebody's gonna be living there, you know, you gotta treat it like your own house, you know? So you gotta be really picky on those contractors, and that's just kind of something I hate when they say. Go to the next one. All right, so step one, you're gonna buy. So you gotta figure out, where are you gonna look at? You know, some people say you can't find a deal in the MLS. I think you can. They are rare, you know, but I found some of my best ones in the MLS. I bought properties off Craigslist. I actually just bought a 6-unit portfolio off Craigslist. So it can be done. Also, you got wholesalers. Now, how are you gonna buy? Because you're gonna refinance it out later, but you gotta get into the deal. And a lot of times we have lots of lenders in here and they can help you get into the deal. So tonight is a good time to start building what I call your team of people. You know, I want to give you actionable things that you can do tonight. So tonight, talk to some of the lenders in here. Talk to some of the realtors. Like my realtor, Sarah, sitting right over there. She's like an all-star realtor in my opinion. She's somebody that I've been working with probably for about 3 years or so. And she literally brought me a deal that I recently made 6 figures on. So if anybody who wants a realtor who can do stuff for you, if she's got business cards, talk to her at the end. Yeah, that's what we're here. We're here to network, you know. But also another thing, when you're looking for the deal, you probably want to stay around 50 or 60% of ARV. So that's the after repair value, which is that ARV. You want to be as close to what the appraiser is going to say on that. Now, it depends on the level of rehab, what's needed. Most of mine, I look for stuff that needs cosmetic. I've never been the kind of person that's going to go through and gut a property and do all the plumbing and do all the electrical. I look for stuff that just needs maybe just a little bit of work. Now you want to stay all in with rehab and purchase, closing costs, everything at about 75%. The reason I say 75% is because when you go back to the bank, they are going to typically give you 75% of the appraised value. Now, minus any closing costs. There you go. Now, where can you mess up at? So number one, the ARV. You basically lie to yourself about the ARV. We all see people who post a property. You might see a wholesaler and say, you know, this property is worth $200,000. It only needs $10,000 of rehab and the roof's falling down. You know that it needs more rehab, or you have to do your own due diligence. And this is big because this is in your head. Nobody's going to tell you what the ARV. You have to decide that for yourself. So just don't lie to yourself, because if you do, if you end up being 50K off in my example right there, on the back end, 75% of that 50K is going to cost you $37,000. So you may lose every single, when I say lose, because your mortgage end up being a little cheaper, but you may end up losing part of that money that you want. Also, if you're not qualified to get the refi, you do all those steps 1, 2, and 3, and then you go to the refi. Well, now, if you paid all cash for the property, maybe you'll be okay, and you can't get your cash out, and you just have a cash flowing property. But if you have a hard money loan, let's say it's a short-term loan, typically 6 to 18 months, well, that hard money lender might want his money, and not 30 years from now. That's not a 30-year loan. So then I'm gonna go to Chuck, my hard money lender, and be like, hey, Chuck, I got an issue. I can't get the refinance. What do I do? Now, of course, you want to talk to your lender. That's the best thing. Don't just ignore them. Don't go hide under the table. But if you come across an issue, talk to your lender. But it just puts you in a bad spot where you can't refinance it. You may have to end up basically treating it like a flip and selling it, and you just lost your burn. So you don't want to do that. And then a crappy rehab. I talked about this before, your level of rehab. If you go through there and it needs things and you don't do it, and then the appraiser comes in there and it's like, they're like, hey, what is this? They're not really going to give you a favorable appraisal. Like I'm doing a couple of refinances right now, and the appraiser went into a duplex and had a tenant just move out a few days ago before the appraiser came in. The tenant didn't tell me that there was a leak behind the bathroom sink, and there was a puddle of water right there. I'm like, I have an appraiser coming in like 3 or 4 days. How do we get this done? So I had my guys go in there, tear up the ceiling and tear up the wall the same day the appraiser came in. And the appraiser sent me pictures of a hole in the ceiling. He was like, what do I do with this? I was like, give me 48 hours or get it fixed. I'll send you a picture. He was cool with it, but you just never know. Like you want to make sure that you have a good rehab. All right, so this is a little bit about some of the deals that I've done. Now, who in here has ever had something go wrong at a property? All right, so if you didn't raise your hand, either you have no properties or you're not doing the business or you're lying. I think everybody's had an issue, right? So on here, you see that red line where that tree is equal with the roof? So this is a house I bought in Hopewell, 40K in 2016. Who in here would love to see a 40K house that needs no work? That's what I bought it for. Honestly, it didn't need any work. It was a HUD house. I had to live in it for a year because it was a government-owned house. So I lived in it for a year. But I'd say about a year after I rented it out, I'm driving halfway to the beach, so I'm down in Myrtle Beach to hang out with some friends. I get a text message from the tenant, and it's one word. I don't know if it's just how sometimes maybe guys or women or whoever they text, but it was one word. It's like tree fell in the house. I'm like, let me pull over real quick. So I had to call her. I was like, what do you mean a tree fell in the house? And she was like, no, the tree fell in the house. I was like, can you send me some pictures? How bad is it? I got probably the luckiest person in the world. Where that red line is right there, where it's equal with the roof, that whole entire tree fell on top of the house, didn't cause any damage at all, not even a single shingle. It broke right where that red line is, so it kind of just fell on top of the roof. Now, it still cost me about $800 to get it cut off the roof without messing the house up. But that's just kind of luck. But you have issues, you have hurdles in business, and sometimes you got to overcome them. Now here's a couple more pictures of just the interior. Like I said, 40 grand, you see it didn't need any work at all. You can go to the next one. Some more of the pictures. It's a smaller kitchen, but it's 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,100 square feet, not bad for 40K. Now this is one of more, this is probably my biggest deal, and there was a bunch of obstacles in this deal. This is one Sarah to help me with. I'm also gonna tell you, just because you see a property for sale now, and you don't get it at that moment, and the deal disappears and it looks like it goes away, keep your eyes on it because that deal may come back around. I bought this one about 1.5 years ago, but that spring I saw the deal, and I think I probably told Sarah about it, but it went off the market really quick. I was like, crap, I missed it. Like 6 weeks later, I think their funding or their loan fell through. I saw it hit the market. I texted Sarah. I was like, all right, I know you're in Short Pump. I'm 15 minutes from there. I'm going there now. Let's get over there and get this under contract. And we did, So this is a quad. It's a 4-unit building. It's a little over 4,800 square feet. Now, like I said, this is the biggest deal I'd ever done at this point. So I don't know if anybody here has written a $100,000 check. Your hand shakes a little bit when you're writing that check, I'd never written anything like that. I closed on this on a Wednesday. Now, I guess to make a long story short, you see the word kidney stone, right? I've never had one in my life up until that day. So I closed on Wednesday. Saturday morning, I was at the property, working with my contractors, doing some small stuff. And I remember my stomach was just hurting. I was like, it's probably nothing. That night, I was in the emergency room, laid up, kidney stone, couldn't move, couldn't do nothing. And that was from Wednesday to Saturday, right when I just cut that check. So I was like, great, biggest deal ever in my life, and I can't do anything. I'm on all kinds of pain medicine. And my contractors, they were afterwards, a couple weeks later, they were like, dude, you were up here at the property trying to tell us to do this and that, and you were so out of it. You didn't know what you were saying half the time. I was like, okay, well, we got to get it done, But like I said, it was $300,000. We put about 30K into it. You can tell it didn't need that much. Like that unit right there was in very good shape. I think all we did really that was just paint the walls. The 2 units downstairs needed a little bit more. We put all new vinyl flooring, stuff like that. But this is where I made a little bit of a mistake on this one. So I don't know if I have another slide, but just keep it here for now. It's actually waterfront too. So it's got about a 5-acre lake behind it. But on so I did a BRRRR in this one because I had a hard money loan on it. So I had to get out of that loan. In my head, I was thinking that it was worth around $425 to $450 because I was bringing in $5 grand a month gross rents. It's on septic, it's on well water. So I didn't really have that many monthly bills to have to pay with. I had like a small $25 electric bill for the well pump. So I was saying $425 to $450. So the appraiser comes in, right? And this is where you can make a mistake, and it did cost me money. I think it cost me I had to leave around 60 to 70K into the deal. And the appraiser came back at 370. And so I was like, there's no way that this property is worth 370. I mean, I kind of wanted to go back and forth with him a little bit on it because this is in Prince George, out in the country a little bit. So there wasn't really many quads he could compare it to with the appraisal. And so he compared it to properties that were 12, let's see, this one's 4,800 square feet. He compared it to properties that are 3,200 square feet. They were making about 3,200 a month. And I was like, well, mine has got a lake behind it. It's bigger. It makes more money. It's got to be worth more. Evidently, I was wrong in that. So you make mistakes, you learn, you move forward. It happens, you know. You can go to the next one. Yes. For the down payment? No, so I put the 100,000 down myself. So yeah, so that's what I was saying. That was the biggest check in my life I'd ever written. And then I used hard money for the other 200K. It was actually Richmond Mortgage. I know Richmond Mortgage is kind of helping out with this. So they're the ones I actually used then, and I'm using them right now too as well with that 6-unit portfolio I mentioned a little while ago. Yeah, this is downstairs. So you see where we put the new vinyl flooring down. 2 of the units actually have sunrooms. If you look at the sunroom, you can actually see the lake through the sunroom. So it's kind of cool views from it. And then actually right now I'm working, so this is the deal I'm working on right now currently. I don't have a lot of details on it because I'm still in the middle of the deal. So back in November, I did a bunch of refinancing just to lower some of my mortgages down with the lower rates before they went up. And so when I did some refinancing, 3 of the houses I had that were free and clear. I actually used those as collateral to buy the 6 with my hard money lender to make them even feel more comfortable. And right now I'm refinancing all 3 of those to pay off the loan for the 6. So basically I'm taking those 3 houses that were free and clear and turning into 6 houses that are free and clear now. So hopefully that makes a little sense. That's kind of like a larger burr. It's not just one house, you know. I actually found that one on Craigslist. So you can find properties everywhere. I'd look on Craigslist, look at classifieds throughout Facebook. I've never bought anything off LoopNet. You can find stuff on there. I know somebody who just bought one at the auction. There's a little website called auction.com. You can find properties on there, deals in there, kind of all kinds of stuff. What do I got next? Oh yeah, this is what I already talked about. And this is not messed up in the quad. See my little angry face on the appraisal at 370, you know? But even though I still left a lot of money in that deal, it cash flows well. My mortgage is about $1,740. I'm bringing in just over $5K a month. So over the mortgage, I'm $3,200 a month on this one property over the mortgage every month. So it still works out well. Was there anything I missed on that one? Yeah. So I guess in closing, look, take your time. You know, don't do a deal just to rush a deal, especially for some of y'all newer people. You know, you might get excited. You might want to do this. You might want to do that. But if you jump in the wrong deal, it'll go south, you know. So take your time, But once you find the deal you want, you have to move extremely quick because anybody in here who's done this for a while, if it's a good deal, they're not going to last. Also, don't suffer from analysis paralysis. You know, some people will sit there and they want to know every little detail. You're never going to know every little detail about every deal. It just doesn't happen. You're always going to have surprises. Like one thing on the quad that I bought. So we got the inspection for termites, right? Everybody gets a termite inspection. It came back clean. There was no termites. Well, guess what? We were painting the trim and the trim fell off and there was like 1,000 termites. I'm like, yay. So of course we go back to the termite inspector and they came out and they're like, oh, we're going to treat this one little area. I'm like, come on, you can't do that. So they treated the area and then I paid somebody else like $1,800 to come out to treat the whole area to make sure it was all gone. So you're going to have hurdles. It's going to happen. So take action. I mean, do your homework, get ready, but just, if you're going to do it, do it. You know, there's no point in wasting your time analyzing everything forever and never doing it. And like I was saying, also, look, don't give up on the deal. Like I talked about my quad, that came back around. There's actually another deal that I just got on the contract, 13 days ago. So it's not around here. It's actually in West Virginia. So it's right where I went to college, where I ran track. So I've been looking for a deal out there just so I have an excuse to kind of go visit my coach and my team. And so there was a deal there 2 years ago, right before COVID hit, that it was 10 units. 10 apartments with 19 storage units. At the time, the guy was asking 620K. So I was like, I was a little iffy on it, came back home, analyzing the numbers, talking to the owner and the realtor. And it was like the first week or two of March at that point. Well, at that point in March, 2 years ago, that's when COVID hit the sky. I mean, they were sending everybody home from work. That's when I was working at Capital One. They kicked us out and sent us home like that, you know? So I was like, at that point, I took a step back. I was like, I don't want to do that deal right now because I don't know what COVID is. No, none of us did. But a couple of weeks ago, and so this is where I'm always stalking deals. You know, like I'm laying in bed at 2 in the morning on a cell phone, just looking up, you know, under the covers, looking at Craigslist, looking at whatever, you know. If you looked at my Zillow app, you see like 1,000 hearts all over the East Coast of properties I'm watching. And so, but that same deal I looked at 2 years ago, they relisted it. And I was like, oh, so, but they relisted from 620 down to 479.9. I was like, that's 140K. Let me revisit this deal because now he lowered it so much, it's not going to stick around. So this is where I already knew that I wanted to do this deal. And this is where I said, move fast, like really fast. You don't have time to wait around. So I called the guy up last 2 Thursdays ago. I was like, hey man, because I already knew the guy. I already talked to him 2 years ago about the deal. So I know the guy. So I called him. I was like, dude, I want to look at the deal again. He was like, man, I was thinking about going up there to look at the deal on Monday. And he was like, man, I got somebody coming out Saturday to look at it and somebody Sunday. I was like, all right, dude, I'll be there tomorrow. I know it's 4.5 hours away, but I'll be there tomorrow, you know? And got out there, negotiated a deal, actually ended up getting it. So he had it listed for 479. The night before when I talked to him, he was like, man, 475, I just want to be done, you know? And then while we were negotiating the deal, there's some funny other stories behind it, but he ended up saying, dude, how about 466? I was like, all right, we can keep lowering this deal all day long. Like, and then he even threw in at the end, he was like, look, I just want to take care of you. Up to 30 days after closing, I'll give you $5,000 to fix any delayed maintenance after closing. I was like, sweet, I'll keep on throwing in all the extra stuff, you know, but got the contract, drove back. But what also was funny is while we were signing the contract, he got a random phone call from somebody. And I think it was somebody local or whatever. And they were on speakerphone, so I could hear both of them talking. And the guy was talking to the seller. He was like, man, do you own those apartments across the street? He was like, yeah, I own those apartments. And the guy was like, would you want to sell them? And the guy was like, yeah, I'll sell them. Then he takes his phone and puts it on FaceTime and turns the phone towards me. He was like, I'm sorry, but you just missed it by like an hour. So my point is though, if I wouldn't have drove out to West Virginia that day, that guy would have gotten it. Somebody on Saturday would have gotten it, somebody on Sunday. But because I was already prepared and I knew what I was looking for, I was able to move quickly and get it before somebody else does. So I think that's a very important thing. And I know I got tons of time to talk because I guess that I found out that I'm the only speaker tonight. And I have a habit of speaking a little fast, so I probably went through quite a bit. But I mean, there's got to be any questions or this, or I mean, what's up, man? Okay, so you want to know about asset-based lending. Do you know anything about asset-based lending and what it is? Okay, so on the asset-based lending, so on a normal mortgage, conventional mortgage, they're going to look at you and they're going to say, all right, we need your tax returns, we need your blood type, we need everything about you. Okay, asset-based lending, they're not worried about you as much. I mean, they will look at your credit score and things like some small things, but they're worried about how much money is this property going to produce. So one key number they look at, it's a ratio. I forget the exact term of it, but let's say the mortgage is $1,000 a month, but you make $1,500. That's a 1.5 ratio. Okay, where you saw my quad where I'm making $5,000 a month, and that's 1,740 mortgage. That puts my ratio at about 3.0, and they love that. You know, so they're looking at more on the performance of the asset versus you. I mean, like I said, they're going to look at your reserves. They want to make sure you have some money in the bank. You don't need a whole lot, you know, but they want to make sure you got some. A decent credit score, but they're more worried about the actual asset itself. Now I've got a couple of lenders that I do work with on that, and I can give those to you afterwards. You know, we can chit chat. And if you want to find me on Facebook, send me any messages. Y'all saw Randy Horner. Now, if you want to put this on there, Randy Watson Horner on Facebook, I'll pop right up. I know that it's from Coming to America, you know, the whole Randy Watson thing. It's a nickname from college, so it kind of stuck on Facebook. And then what was your other question about, so that makes sense? Okay. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Investors, you mentioned number 4, to make sure that you're not in this situation. Point is, let's say that someone does run into a situation where the appraised value just isn't there. Can you talk about some of the creative strategies that you have done as an investor to move the deal forward and to be positioned in a decent, in a decent way, I guess?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I've never been in.
I know some of the answers, but I guess I'm curious to know what you've done in case some of us fall into that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was like on my quad. I mean, I had bad appraisal, and it cost me some money on the actual refinance. But I mean, honestly, I don't think I've really been in a position where I was in a bad enough spot to where I wasn't okay with leaving some money in the deal. Like, I mean, I've been building my business slowly, you know. So somebody who's building their business a lot quicker maybe has a chance to fall into more of that pit hole. Because I mean, my first few years, I was just buying one house a year, just trying to get started. So I mean, I'd be interested to hear what your ideas are though. Yeah. Oh yeah, you want to be there for the appraisal. Well, that's what I was, yeah, well, I guess that's what I was saying. Like I know Chuck, right? He's a hard money lender, you know? So if I had a loan with Chuck that was, let's say, a 12-month term, and you know, we're 90 days in, I find out I can't refinance. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go talk to Chuck and say, hey, Chuck, I'm having issues refinancing. What can we do? And Chuck, what would you say in that situation? Oh yeah, he's gonna make sure he vets me really well. He's gonna make sure the deal's solid before he puts money on it too. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you're saying somebody when they were to buy, step one, they got a traditional 30-year mortgage from the get-go. Well, I mean, you can just wait. Yeah, with an investment property, they're gonna want at least 15%, but typically 20% down, and then they got their rehab costs. So they're still out of that pocket cash, but at least I guess in that situation, they have time on their side. Now, right now, I know rates are going up, and it's a whole different conversation. But the last couple of years, if you needed, if things weren't perfect, then you already have a long-term loan. So if you need to wait 6 months or 9 months, I haven't done all my BRRRRs right away. Like my very first house I showed y'all for 40 grand in Hopewell, I bought that house, I actually refinanced it a year later. But I refinanced it. And I would say I didn't really put any money into the house. I got lucky on that one. But Virginia Credit Union actually gave me a loan for 45 grand. So I made 5 grand on the house without even selling it. Had a mortgage of like $380 a month and rents it for $995. So yeah. Yeah, no, I made kind of money on both sides of it. But I don't know if that really answers kind of what you're looking for. All right, talk to Chuck over here. We're gonna get a few lenders in here, you know. OPM, other people's money, yes. I know I kind of did it backwards tonight, you know, way I went step 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 backwards, you know? Well, just because you want to know your end goal. So you want to kind of work it backwards sometimes. Now, if you want to use other people's money, I will say, like, I do some creative things sometimes. You can ask Sarah, she's laughing at me right now. Yeah. Yeah, you can. That's why you have to talk to your look. So if you're gonna go to private money, it's not always about the numbers. It's not always this or that. You got to build relationships. So I don't care what you say about real estate. You know, you have this house, you want to make a lot of money. Look, if you don't have, you need people skills. You know, so you want to talk to people, get to know them, take them to lunch. You know, let them know who you are, where you're from, what your goals are. Even with tenants, like you have to build a team, okay? And if you think you can do this business by yourself, I guess that's a joke because you have to have lending, so you need to build that relationship. You need a realtor, so you got to build that relationship. You probably need homeowners insurance, so you need to build a relationship, somebody who can get you quotes really quick. You're going to have tenants, you're going to have contractors, you're going to have maintenance people. So you got to build those relationships with people. And lending is a huge relationship thing. And like Chuck said, he came here tonight because he saw I was coming here, you know. And me and Chuck have known each other for a little while now. So it's about building that. Like Adam back there, I mean, he's a good wholesaler. You probably want to talk to him, you know, before the end of the night, you know. Yeah, that guy right there. No, he's a rock star wholesaler, you know, and like you want to start with all that, you know. I mean, there's things you can do starting tonight, you know. So if you're brand new and you don't know everything, look, walk around, talk to these people because you're gonna want to find deals, right? So of course you can look on Zillow, you can look on Craigslist, but you have Adam right there. I mean, I was trying to get one of his deals a couple months ago, and it went like that. By like an hour. I missed about like an hour or so, or 2 hours or something like that, whatever it was. So talk to Adam, talk to some of these people in this room who can connect you with the right people, you know? And just because you talk to somebody doesn't mean you're a good match with them, you know? I'm sure you don't lend to everybody you talk to, you know? If you did, that'd be kind of crazy.
Hey, Randy, you've got 2 questions on.
Oh, a lot.
The first one said, I found a property that is 5 efficiencies, but it's not for it. What can I do to buy it?
Oh, that is a deep question. Well, because I've never had to worry about rezoning. Because when you go into 5 units, when you go past 4, you get to 5 units, it's technically commercial. So he would have to, I mean, I've never had to, like I said, deal with, you know, anything rezoning wise. Yeah, that's a great question. I hate to say I don't know, but I don't know everything. That is an issue. You know, the lender, I mean, is the lender going to be able to lend on something that's not zoned properly? You know, like there's a lot of questions I would research on that.
Or like you take ownership of that. No longer.
Yeah, but I guess for this guy though, he's saying he found a property he's interested in. You know, so now before he takes ownership, he needs to figure it out now. You know. Oh yeah. I mean, because Chuck, I mean, you wouldn't lend on a property on something like that, you know, if it's not zoned correctly, because they could shut that down in a heartbeat.
Second question is, what banks are the best for asset-based refinancing? I would like to invest full-time, but I'm concerned about how I would refinance it if I leave my job.
Maybe that's my fault too, a little bit. So on the asset-based lending, there's somebody local around here. She's not here tonight, by the name of a lady named Lindy Pond. She does a lot institutional money and more of the asset-based lending. That's probably one of the main ones locally around here. I've done one with Network Capital. They did a bunch of my stuff a couple months ago. But you can just kind of, I hate to say it, but Google asset-based lending and kind of network people and you can find some of those. That's the best way I'd say that. Oh, yeah. You want to be concerned on the ARV. Is there anybody in here who doesn't know what ARV stands for? I just make sure I know we have some new people in here. I'll make sure the lingo they were getting that. Yeah, because you want to, what's the old saying where you under promise and over deliver? You want to do that same thing to yourself. Because like I said earlier, if you lie to yourself about that ARV, it's going to be you at the end who's got the bad result. You know, I would much rather think it's worth 180 and it comes back at 200 and I get extra money in my pocket than have that flip flopped. You know, you saw my quad, I made a mistake on that, you know. I mean, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes, trust me, you know. You're only going to learn by doing it. I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, I can sit here and tell you stories or things I've done, but you just have to do it. You know, you have to get your feet wet, you know. I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, yeah. Was there any other? So, yeah, and that's the main thing. And like, if you want to see somebody in here you haven't talked to before, go just talk to them and get their number. I'm like, hey, can I take you to lunch one day next week or this or that so I can get some one-on-one time with you? I've done that with people and paid for their lunch. Because if you're going to take somebody's time, at least add some value back to them, pay for their lunch, pay for a drink or something like that. But don't be afraid to do that. You know, that's the whole purpose of things like this, you know. But I know there's a whole nother story talking about, you know, the market we're in. It's kind of the point where everybody's been seeing rates go up a little bit. So what's going to happen with that? Who knows? But just do your due diligence, do what you need. Just don't analyze forever in a day and never do a deal, you know. But once you know what you're looking for and you know it, when you see it, you're going to know it, and then you just move and do it, you know. But in the meantime, you can start doing things today. You can start talking to people who have deals, start talking to people who have money. You know, go home and think about, okay, well, if I'm going to have a rental, I need to start creating my vendor list. You can create your vendor list for free. Ask your friends, ask your family, hey, you know, or cousins or whatever. Just start doing those things now. So that way you don't have to do them last minute. Because you don't get your rental and the tenant's calling about a plumbing issue. And now you're trying to find a plumber. Do those things ahead of time. You can do them now for free. You know, that's not going to cost you any money. In the last couple of years? Yeah. Huh? All right. So Sarah wants me to talk about that, one of my most recent deals. So she brought a deal to me a couple of years ago. And she literally sent me a text message one day. She's like, hey, are you interested in buying a model home? I was like, sure. I've never done that. You know, why not? I went there and checked it out. It was like 5 minutes from my house. Ended up buying this property. Never had to really do anything because Ryan Holmes used it as the model for 2 years, was paying me almost $3,000 a month in rent just to use it as the model. And then they finished building the neighborhood back in December, get the keys to me. And this is what I say, you also gotta have a rock star realtor that can hold your feet to the ground. Because there's lots of times Sarah can tell you where I've been in deals and we're going through the financing or back and forth with the sellers, and something comes up and I get aggravated. She's laughing right now, I'll get aggravated about something like, oh, they shouldn't do that, they should do this, and then she'll be like, just calm down, take a deep breath. Every time she's held me to the ground, but on this model home, we paid $378 for it and we just sold it for $480. And I held it for 2 years and didn't have to fix anything in the house. I didn't have to do anything in the house. So you want somebody who can maybe bring you a 6-figure deal, which is awesome. But, oh yeah, they're priced, which was nice. And it actually ended up being $490, but I paid $10,000 in closing costs to help them out. But I'll say back in November, I picked up 3 duplexes. If you know where Emporia, Virginia is, they're actually in Jarrett, which is just down 95 a little bit. I picked up the 6-unit portfolio in Petersburg back in December. And they're under contract right now. I've got 2 more duplexes and a single family in Jarrett. And then I've got those 10 apartments and 19 storage units in West Virginia under contract right now. So that'll probably put me at about 34, 35 doors or so. But hey, it was nice when Capital One last summer told me to take a hike. I was like, sweet. I was like, what does that mean? If I'm going to get laid off, do I get money? How's this work? And then they give me 6 months severance. I was like, and medical for 6 months? I was like, cool with that. Yeah.
So what criteria to buy? You have a lot of people like 5 months or your crystal clear criteria. Like you have like something that particularly look at or whatever. How are you deciding what to buy?
All right. So the main thing I'm going to look for is, you could say, the cash flow, So I can look at a property and know, okay, this property's gonna be $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, however much it is, those 10 units, I'm getting this $466, but I know that my mortgage is gonna be about $2,500 a month, but the gross revenue of my property is gonna be $6,500 a month. So I know even with some maintenance issues or this or that, I've got a $4,000 a month cushion that I know I'm gonna make money on it. So if you can run the numbers and know, all right, I'm gonna put in this much money, this is my down payment, this is my closing cost, so this is going to be my monthly mortgage I got to carry for the next 30 years. And then, okay, typically if you're going to buy something that's got tenants on it, they can tell you how much they're getting currently for rent. Now, right now, a lot of people who have tenants for 3 or 4 or 5 years, they're probably under market severely compared to where rent should be right now. But you're going to know, you don't want to get a property where your mortgage is $1,000 a month and you're renting it for $1,100. You're like, yeah, I'm making $100. No, really, you're going negative because you got to factor in vacancies. Because if you have nobody in there for a month because you're painting or doing this or fixing this, you just lost $1,100 in rent. That's basically $100 a month for the whole year. You just broke even without even fixing anything. So you want to make sure that you've got some good cash flow. I'd say most of my single families are anywhere, I don't know, 400 to 600 over the mortgage. You saw my quad. 1740, bringing 5K. So you want to make sure you have good cash flow, but I'd say just look at the numbers, and you got to figure out rehab. I don't look for properties that need full guts. I try to do it the easy way. And so I want stuff where you go in there and you paint, you do some carpet, maybe put some flooring in, but I don't tackle the properties that need a full gut. I know some people in here probably love that. That's not me. It's not my business model. And I feel like I've done pretty good over the last 6 years with my business model, but everybody's got a different niche on what they want to do. There's a lot of ways to make money in real estate. This is just how I do it. And I've got other things I've done. I'm sure some people have heard of house hacking. That's how I got started. I've been doing house hacking forever, You just got to figure out what you want to do, how you want to do it, and figure out what you're willing to do it, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people are like, I want to be successful, but I want to sit over here and I want to be quiet and I want to do nothing. You can't make money that way. I mean, I'm serious. There's a lot of people. Look, I've been an athlete my whole life. I've been a runner, okay? And even on my college cross country team, we had people on the team Like, so I was one of the more serious, like I was there to run. I wasn't there just to party. Some of my teammates would party every week and this and that. I'm like, I'm sorry, I got to run 20 miles on Sunday. I don't have time to get drunk Saturday night, okay? So they were there to have fun. I was there to compete because I wanted to go pro. I wanted to make it to, try to make it to the Olympic trials with this or that, So some people think that they're going to get success by putting half effort, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. No, if you're going to do it, go all out, do it for real, take action. If you don't, you're going to wish you would have, you're going to see, I know y'all are friends right there, right? And so let's say you take it for real. You already have a company you're starting up, right? Oh, you all together? Oh, you ruined my example. So I was going to say, well, maybe the two of y'all take it serious, but the two of y'all are like, we're going to wait a little while. And then y'all start getting really successful, and then you're watching them become successful. So you don't want to watch your friends become successful, and then while you're sitting on the sidelines wishing you would have done it. I mean, make wise decisions, smart decisions, but it's like Nike, just do it, I guess.
All right, we got a couple more questions, right? So we have an online question. It says, "What is house hacking?"
Come up. Look, that's nothing fancy. So you can do it one of two ways. I did it with the whole roommate thing. Now, if you want to do traditional house hacking, you can buy a duplex because you can buy up to 4 units and still get the loan as a personal residence. And so if you go get a quad and you live in 1 unit or rent out the other 3 units, if you do it right, it should cover your expenses. You're probably not going to cash flow much because you're living in 1 unit, but you can do a duplex, triplex, or quad and still be the homeowner and live in one of the units. Now, for me, look, when I first started, I didn't know a thing. I was like, I want to do this real estate thing because I know it's the only way I'm probably going to be free from my job. So I bought a single family house. It was 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. The mortgage was like $700 a month. I had 2 roommates, each paid me $500. So it covered my mortgage and all my utilities, and I lived there for free. And I still do that now. I've got a 5-bedroom house now. I've got 4 roommates. They pay me about $2,300 a month with all the roommates. My mortgage is $1,300 a month. So I'm $1,000 over the mortgage on my own personal house. And I got a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath house, acre of land, 2-car garage in a nice neighborhood. So if you do it right, house hacking, not everybody can do roommates, I figure if I'm a single guy, who cares? I'll do the roommate thing all day long. I did tell my roommates, if I get a girlfriend one day, they got to go. But for now.
Ready to say, I was going to say something.
That's true. But for now, it works. That's basically what house hacking is. It's living with roommates, or it's doing a duplex up to a quad and renting out the other units while you live in one.
Awesome.
Another question we have here. So people ask reserves.
Yeah.
How important is it to have cash reserves, like as you're maintaining the property? And do you have a rule of thumb for how much you keep per property?
Okay, so cash reserves, and that's kind of a couple different questions. It's the same topic, it's a couple different questions. So like I said earlier, when you go do the refinance with the bank, even though they're going to cash you out, like say $40,000 on the loan, and let's say I'm using an easy example. Let's say the mortgage is $1,000 a month, and this is your first property you've ever done. All right, so they're typically probably going to say, well, we want you to have 6 months of reserves on that mortgage. So they're probably going to tell you, we want you to have $6,000 in the bank. So it's not a whole lot of money, but if you burn through all your money doing rehab and down payment, and you're like, oh, I only got $1,000, the bank is not going to count that 40 grand they're about to give you as cash reserves. So you want to make sure that you already have some cash reserves for the bank to be happy to give you that cash out refinance. That's the main thing on that. Now, as you're growing your business, yes, you want to make sure you have more reserves. I'd say probably at least 6 months of the mortgages. So if like right now, I think my total mortgages are running almost 15 grand a month. Okay, so I want to have at least 6 months of that. Now, every lender, every bank is different. I know with the refinances I'm doing now, they told me that they need my bank statements to show 29 grand. So every lender is a little different, but you want to make sure that you have reserves because you never know what's going to happen. Think about it. When that tree fell in the house, and let's say I'd had no money, I got insurance, that would have helped. But That's probably a bad example, but like, so when I was on the quad, right? And I found the termites. Well, if I didn't have extra space budgeted in my rehab, that $1,800 for some people could have broke them, you know? And same thing, I mean, I didn't go into detail on rehab or this or that because you can go in each of those subjects for hours. But when you're going to rehab, if you're thinking it's going to cost me 20 grand, you might as well say 25 grand just to be on the safe side, because you're going to have things come up that you're like, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. And you can go in there and look at the properties and this or that, but I had a termite inspection and there were still termites, you know? So it's part of the deal. Anything else, Alon? Yeah. Oh, sorry. All right, so I keep my personal and business money 100% separate. So right now, I don't touch any of my business money, not a penny of it. So it all goes into my business checking account to either use for paying the mortgages, or if I need to fix something, or if I want to buy a new property. So my business has got to the point the last few years where it pays for itself and I can save money to buy another property. Because I mean, I just quit working in Capital One about over the summer. Officially, September was my last day. So I've got some money saved up from that. So I haven't had to use any. I got roommates too, you know. So then I get money from that. So I don't touch any of my business money, not a penny of it, if that makes sense. But you always want to keep personal and business separate, you know, for a CPA, you know, somebody doing your taxes, or I've never been audited. Maybe knock some wood somewhere. You never know. I don't know if it's wood, whatever. There's some wood down there. But you know, you want to keep business and personal separate. I've got business credit cards. You know, I've got a couple different LLCs, so I have a business credit card for each LLC, separate checking accounts for each LLC. But that's more detailed stuff. You know, if you're new in this, you can kind of figure out some of that stuff as you go. You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, let's give a round of applause. Get a question? You're good? Okay. Thank you so much, Randy. That was some really great information. Before you guys could